Welcome to the Empath School Podcast. I'm Jack, and together with my wife, Tiff, we are all about you, the empath. We are the creators of the #1 energy management system for you. We help you reclaim your power and thrive in your life and at work. Let's do this. Hey, welcome to the podcast today. This is episode 235, Trusting the Unknown.
I hate the unknown. I hate it. Do we have to have it in the title?
We have to have it in the title. Yeah, this is this is a pretty good topic, I think. Sounds like it'll be really good for Tiff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the good old unknown, which is where we all live.
Every day.
I know.
It's just varying degrees of unknownness.
Well, here's the deal. Feminine energy doesn't like the unknown very well because we are such wild, vast energy beings that everything just feels kind of uncertain because of our nature. Masculine energy likes an adventure and a challenge, so I think it's easier for them to manage it. That is my opinion.
I would agree.
Because you are like, the unknown, it's growth. It feels good. I'm like, oh my God.
It's an adventure. There's always something to figure out, and it feels so good when you do.
Oh, God. I just need my soft blanket now.
Right. Maybe we should have brought you a bottle of wine to drink while we record this.
Oh, maybe. I try not to day drink.
What time is the cutoff time?
3 o'clock. Because it's 5 o'clock back east.
Oh my God, that's funny. Well, some people drink mimosas for breakfast.
I know. I never do that though. I need to start.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because we have the opportunity to talk to a good amount of people in a day, in our Empath School and clients that we see.
Oh boy,
and
that's
our
true.
Friends on Facebook and all the things.
Our fans, our followers.
We have a lot of engagement, and I would say there's a general feeling out there that things feel
weird.
To be very weird, different,
awkward.
For sometimes awkward. Very awkward.
Uh-huh.
And we thought this would be a great topic because while we've navigated very big transitions in our own lives,
you and me,
mm-hmm.
Boy,
we know what it's like to move into the wild frontier of the unknown and make decisions. And we thought it would be helpful for you, the listener, for us to share with you the tools that have supported us in our navigations of the unknown. And we have some great things that will really help. Tiff, is there anything you wanted to share just about the day-to-day? I mean, we're in the middle of clearing out Tiff's mom's house that she lived in 37 years. She passed away at the end of December.
Mm-hmm. And
now we're right at the beginning of February. We have to have everything completely cleaned out by the end of February. So we have another 3.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we spend our weekends and many Fridays. Yes, it's date day. But we've been spending a lot of time going through every single item that her mother stored, owned, used, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just her mother, but her mother took care of Tiff's grandmother and grandfather to the end of their life. So many of the pictures and the journals and all the things, Tiff has had to go through every single solitary piece of paper and picture. And we've been going through the house and the garage and the closets and the cupboards and the storage bins and everything you can imagine. The back storage room down in the dark cave of the backside of the garage that was always locked and closed, and going through every single item and just seeing one person's life summed up.
Yeah.
In all the things we see and touch.
It's been super intense. And it's definitely left me with a place of uncertainty in my life, that's for sure.
I think that'd be a great starting point, actually. Just would you share a little bit about what kind of uncertainty this has created for you with the loss of your mother?
It's so weird. The whole thing is just so effing weird because, I didn't know how it felt to have a mother die because she hadn't died until now. and cleaning out her stuff and having to do it so fast.
I know.
Without time to grieve her loss. But I'm having to grieve her loss while I'm cleaning out her stuff. And it's just been really weird. It's like I've been dismantling my whole foundation. Oof. Yeah, totally. Dismantling is the word. And so I feel really out of sorts. I feel ungrounded a lot. I feel a lot of fear come in about the future because I don't feel like I have like a solid ground to stand on, which I never even knew this was what I felt when my mom was alive because I've always had it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like she was going to rescue me or do anything like that. It just was an energy thing. And now that's gone. And I feel like I'm in this open void of new creation, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, you mentioned in our other podcast, I think, that you lost your anchor point.
Yeah.
So no matter how close or disconnected you were from your mom through all the years of your life, she was always there.
Yeah, always.
In her own spot.
Yeah, and she was always the same.
Right. And so you always knew where you were in relation to her. So then with her body no longer here, anchoring this
and
place,
the house will soon be gone.
And the house will be gone. And you're the dismantler of it. So you're having to...
Yeah, it sucks. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's such a spiritual experience. Yes, I've had some really profoundly spiritual experiences as I've been cleaning out the house. But for the most part, it's really sucked ass. And I don't like the feeling of being in the void. And this is part of life. And I'm sure I'll get to a point where I have built a new foundation for myself that feels comfortable until that's done. And then I'll do this again because that's really what life is. And it's just kind of settling in and knowing that everything's okay when you can't see where you're standing.
That is a very powerful point for today's whole podcast.
So we're done then.
Okay. Yeah. Just know that wherever you are in this moment, you are fully sourced. Mm-hmm. Even though you can't see it, even though you don't know where it's going, even though you don't know how you're going to do it, even though you don't know if you're going to be able to get to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. In this moment, everything is supporting you just right here, right now.
I know. And it really is. It really because is. Things just work out and you're like, oh, how did it work out?
But it's when you're in the unraveling or the unraveled state of being.
Oh,
that it feels almost impossible. And that takes me back to, this is the story that for me was one of the greatest unravelers. While, Tiff is sharing and we're going through this passing of her mother. My dad died when I was 11. And it unraveled me, truly. And there was a lot of strong repercussions that impacted me in my life and how I live. And, you find your way through it all, always, no matter what. You do. We all do. We all continue to get up the next day.
Yep.
Live another day.
Yep.
Put our clothes on.
Yep.
Take a shower. Not in that order, typically. And we just live. Yeah. Right? We're totally. Very fucking resilient.
Yes.
As humans. And we're really powerful too. So, but anyway, the story that I really wanted to talk about was when Tiff and I met. Talk about a moment of absolute
unraveling,
terrorizing uncertainty. Because Tiff, when I met Tiff, I was presenting female. I definitely am a man inside. I didn't recognize or admit to anyone externally the truth of myself. And so when we met, we looked like two females. And it was instant.
It sure didn't feel that way.
Attraction. It was instant connection. It was instant.
Was it instant attraction for you?
Knowing. Yeah, I was so attracted to you. I was so completely, but I had to try to filter it through the filters that would make it acceptable. So while I had these new kinds of feelings for this woman, I was deeply attracted to this woman that I met at this 12-step meeting. I walked in and she's around the circle, she's sitting on the other side. And, just right from the outset, you're not supposed to get involved with people in your 12 steps.
There was Overeaters Anonymous, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even know why Jack was there. He had the most fit body I've ever seen. I'm like, what are you doing here?
I'm like, had a demon on my back.
You have to be fat to be here. Get out.
I had a demon on my back.
Yeah, you did.
For sure. That started when my dad died. which, I started controlling everything I could control, and food and my body.
True.
Those were the two places I felt like I had some say. So I went after it. But anyway, so Tiff and I meet, and my worldview, I was very religious. I had been raised to believe things a certain way. This is what life is. This is what marriage is. This is what being good means. This is what you have to do to be right before God.
Yep.
You have to make sure and do all these things, so then you know that you're going to have the support from God. You'll be able to live with your family again after you die. And because my dad was dead, that was part of my push to try to be good. And then I meet Tiff. And I'm like, what the actual fuck just happened? And where am I? And who am I? And what am I? And what is this? And talk about uncertainty. I had never been more immersed. I felt like I got shoved into the deep end, and it was about 100 feet deep.
You know what's so interesting is I take a look at our life now and what it was then. I was the one that lived in total surrender then, and I was like pretty solid and clear.
You did.
You were so resistant.
Oh my
gosh.
God. I was trying so hard to be right and good. So my resistance was tied to being right
and it didn't
good.
help that I could read the energy and I was a seer.
Yeah.
That was your...
That's another whole aspect of that story. So there we were. Well, there I was. Tiff, I want to hear your experience. I was in this world of everything that I was feeling went directly against what I had been raised to believe as right and true and good. And because I started having intimate sexual feelings towards a woman, and, I was in a woman's presenting as a woman, and there was no place in my life where that was okay. It was not okay to be romantically attracted to another woman. That was wrong. That was bad. Jesus. What was I supposed to do? My God. So talk about the unknown. That would be the biggest unknown position I have ever found myself standing in. And
where you had to challenge absolutely everything you believed, everything you knew, everything that you
it's like my entire world was being dismantled.
See, I am a dismantler.
You are a dismantler. My world was being dismantled like we're dismantling Mom's house.
I know.
One piece at a time, everything having to be looked at. Some things get tossed, some things get shared and somebody else can have it, and some things we keep.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that's like such a metaphor.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So then as we were coming together, also a really wonderful part of that story about, when I say we're fully resourced all the time, all of us are, even though our eyes are telling us, no, that's not true. Look at this, look at that. It's all coming forward. It's all here for us. And it unfolds beautifully in our behalf. But as I was in that position, I'm like, what does this mean? What am I supposed to do? How do I do this? And none of this matches what I've been taught that I have to be in order to be a good person. Because I am in love. I have in love feelings, which is friendship plus chemistry. That's how you can determine if you're in love. Friendship plus chemistry. And I had all that. And thank God we had bag work. That's what I was going to say for the resource. Because Tiff, it had come through right at the perfect time. And we started using bag work. I was using bag work, which is the way that we help you clear your limiting beliefs. That's what we built our business on. It's a way to break through the beliefs that keep you stuck over here when you want to live over there. You want to make new decisions for yourself. You want to live a bigger life. You want to change your career. Maybe you're moving into a different stage or phase of life or relationship.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to understand what the programming is inside your head that's telling you why you will be a worthless piece of shit if you move forward.
That's really extreme,
and do that thing. Well, for me, that's where it went.
That one,
Yes. And thank God I had a way to start sorting through that so I could make some very, very big decisions. And it allowed me to actually get closer and closer and closer to my true self. And my true self knew exactly what it wanted. And it wanted to get you in bed.
I can't believe you're saying this in this explicit Podcast.
And
Is that all I was to you?
that's just it, a piece of ass. You know that's not true. I'm just being
You're being yourself.
dramatic. Being dramatic. So there you go. That was like the most uncertain time, and I had a very clear decision to make. Was I going to follow my heart? What my true self was calling to is what I say, follow my heart, or was I going to stick with what's going on in my head? Are you yawning?
Yeah.
Do you need a nap?
I need something.
You need a little pick-me-up? Okay, why don't you tell us your part of that story? That'll pick you right up. Tell us.
Oh, honey, I wasn't.
What was that like for you? Was it unknown for you, or did you feel just perfectly comfortable?
No, I thought
there?
I was going to kill myself. I mean, if you want to know the truth, I'm like, I was reading all my church books, and you know what I read? I read that being in a same-sex relationship is as evil as bestiality and incest.
Jesus.
So I'm sitting here going, I am such a piece of trash. And I just am like, I might as well just kill myself. I wasn't going to do it, but I wanted to die, but I wasn't going to kill myself. I just am like, oh my God, I can't do this. And yeah, it was very intense. And everything I believed, I had to leave my religion and go. This is what I told Jack. I said, I am going to go on a walk with God. And Jack was not happy about that. But I'm like, I can't go to church and pretend I'm something that I'm not, because I have integrity with myself. And I just need to go away from all the influence of religion and go on a spiritual journey with myself and God to find out what the hell is going on with me and what's wrong with me. Come to find out nothing was wrong, because I just believed a whole bunch of stuff that is not true.
Right.
So that is where I was, and it was the unknown, and I lost everything. I left with a car. I had a car for a short time and some clothing and a few dishes. That's all I had. I left my entire life complete.
What made you do that?
Because I just knew that you were my person. And I left my kids with my ex-husband.
They were what age? 16 and 18?
Yeah, they were older. And then I would come here during the day and I'd go sleep at a friend's house at night. Talk about uncertainty. What the hell?
Yeah, that was huge.
Ugh.
So you said that you just knew. How did you know?
I just trusted my intuition.
And you just had a feeling and you just knew?
I just knew that you were my person. We had just started our business.
I know.
We weren't making any money.
And I was in a position where if she lived with me, then I could lose the alimony that was supporting me.
Oh, God, it was so intense.
It was.
I don't, honestly, I'm just going to say it because I think I'm so fucking awesome. I don't know many people that would be able to uproot their entire life at the age of 40 and leave with a car and a suitcase and stay at someone's house and then come to their lover's house during the day and try and start a business.
That's you.
Oh,
You did that.
I am so glad that's over.
It was a lot.
It was so much. So yeah, I was very uncertain, but I just knew.
And you were living in a very surrendered state.
I was.
And you just kept trusting. And that was one of the things that grabbed me so hard about you, that you had so much trust. I called it faith.
Yeah.
I was just like, who is this? How does she live this way? How can you do that? And you would just sink into this once you felt your feelings. I mean, you would have fear, but once you worked your way through it and you reached a state of surrender, it was so solid in you.
Yeah. Totally.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
If you were going to
I don't think I live in that much surrender these days.
If you were going to tell our listeners how you did that, how did you do that?
Well, I believed in God and, universe, but to me it was God at that time. And I had seen so many miracles in my life unfold as I had that belief in God. I still carried that. And I just knew, I just knew. I just was like, everything's going to be okay. I don't know how. I don't know when. This feels terrible. And I'm just going to keep walking. That's all I could do. I really didn't even have a choice, unless I just laid on the ground and died outside. You know what I mean? You have to get up and go somewhere. You have to do something. And so I just did and things kept happening. Like my friend is like, I am staying in this big house because I'm staying here for a couple of years, house sitting for someone that's out of the country. You can come stay in the basement. You can use the basement. There's a bathroom, and a room.
Everything did keep happening. And I know it's because you were so surrendered. All the doors were open for you.
Yeah.
And you were actually looking for them. And I think that's a really powerful message when you talk about, for you, it was your faith in God. Now you may call it universe, source, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's all the same thing. But it's when we have a belief, whether it's ourselves, our higher self, our self within ourself, our true self. Yeah.
And just know. And one of the things that Tiff, you said to me that stood out loudly was that there are no accidents, that you have all truth inside of you. And those two things, I chose to believe those.
Yeah, I believed them.
And they were very supportive. So this is one of the keys of how you navigate uncertainty. Listener, really find something that you can lean on. Whether it's for you, it is God, maybe it's universe, maybe it's source, maybe it's your true self, maybe it's a folding chair. I don't know.
I was just going to say that.
I know, because you used to always say that, and I love that. But once you adopt a leaning in of this part that is there for you, and like I said, you can choose to believe it.
You have to trust. You have to trust that there's something greater than your own conscious brain telling you you're screwed. There's something greater than that is moving you forward to where it is that you want to be. And many people don't believe that. And the people that don't believe that, this is not the podcast for them, but the people that do,
lean
into it, trust it, hold on to it. I think because things were so extreme for me during that time, I felt like I had no choice but to trust. I just had to. Otherwise, I would literally have nothing.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, it sure did.
It worked really well.
And now we're together.
Yeah. And then
married in the same house.
It's incredible.
I don't have to stay at somebody's house.
We just love our life. We've been together now. We'll be
our
18 years.
Year this month.
Wow, that's incredible. And
it's
been a really good run, more than ever before.
Ever?
Yes, it just gets bigger every day. I feel like it's going to completely consume me. And I like it a lot. So much. So there we were. So going through uncertainty, whatever feels uncertain, whether it's big uncertainty, little uncertainty, you leaning in, find something that you can lean on to really give you some of that uplift support to take the load, to carry some of the load. For some of you, it may be Jesus.
Yep.
For some of you, it may be source or universe. For some of you, it literally may be just your unstoppable human spirit. Whatever it is, lean into that. And as you do that, and it lifts you up and opens you up to be able to see and understand what's going on, then you will be able to have more relief, and then you will be able to see the open doors that are being opened up in your path. But when we are believing that we're stuck and we can't and there's no way, we don't see the open doors that are there, because our brain is hardwired that what we focus on grows legitimately. This is a function of our brain. When we start focusing on something, it expands. Our brain searches through the circuitry and finds all of the corresponding neural networks that go along with whatever it is you're thinking. And it brings all of them to the surface. So if you start thinking, oh, nothing ever works out for me, and then you keep noticing the bad things just keep happening, and you keep reinforcing and re-solidifying this message, guess what? Bad things are going to keep happening. But when you're in any kind of uncertainty, any kind of unknown, any kind of new experience that is not familiar, find those anchor points. Find that part within yourself that you can lean towards, whether that's, and I say within yourself, and I mean that God, source, universe, that's all within us, our creation. and lean on it. When Tiff had her brain injury, that's when I really connected with my angels.
That was another place.
It was so uncertain. I had no idea if we were going to lose everything or not, because Tiff was the lead coach and we coached together. And she couldn't coach. She couldn't even get in a car. She couldn't leave the house. Because her brain, with her brain injury, all of her fear receptors were going
My nervous
bonkers.
system was shot. It was annihilated.
It was so bad, and it was very, very extreme. And that's when I started leaning in and praying again. After I do think I had thrown the baby out with the bathwater to some degree when I left the church of our religion, the church I belong to, and I had to reestablish for myself these anchor points.
Totally.
And for me, I started asking my angels to lift the heaviness off my heart, to bring a flicker of hope into me in the day. And they did every day. And every time I asked. And it helped me learn that there's help for me. And it was beautiful. And it expanded me. And it taught me how to bring this message to you. So if you're somebody that maybe is a bit agnostic, try a few things on for size. Play with it. See how it feels to ask angels or beings for help, and see if you find some relief. Play with it. Because our thoughts create our reality. And as we think certain thoughts, then other corresponding thoughts join it. And this is about navigating uncertainty. And there's uncertainty every day for every single one of us. So one of the things that I know also that really helped, there are some questions you can ask yourself when you're in the middle of some really big uncertainty. Maybe like Tiff, you've left a relationship and you're walking into a new one. Or maybe you got a new job. Or maybe you're getting ready to leave a job. Or maybe you are in the middle of an experience that's completely foreign to you and you don't even know what to make of it. Well, there are 4 questions you can ask yourself that will give you some guidance and clarity to know whether or not you're aligned with your true self and in the right place for you. The first question you can ask yourself is, since this experience or this person has come into my life, have I grown?
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm in this new experience, have I grown? Is it helping me grow? And if the answer is yes, good on ya. You're in the right place. And then ask yourself the question, now being in this experience, is it helping me stand more fully into my power? If the answer is yes, there you go. Good. Another one, is it expanding? Is it helping me expand my sense of self and purpose in life?
So good. Yeah.
And if it's yes, you're in the right place. And then ask yourself the question, is this taking away from me, leading me away from myself? And if the answer is no, you're in the right place. So with those 4 questions, it's a very good way to connect with yourself in whatever it is that you're experiencing that feels extremely uncertain or unknown, and to give you some of that anchoring and that grounding that we all so desperately need.
Totally.
And I think the grounding Tiff needs is her bed.
Right now?
And her blankets and her pillows.
You think so?
Yes.
I was just thinking about that. You must have read my mind.
Are you getting so excited about it?
It's 2:00.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Is there a rule like drinking? You can't get in bed before a certain time?
Sometimes I have to take a midday little snooze.
Why not?
I just wanted to get my cupboards cleaned off.
Good Lord. That's a lot of cleaning. When I got home from work last night, Tiff had all of our cupboards are in our
bookshelves,
TV room. The bookshelves, they're all decorated beautifully. Everything pulled off of them. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, help me now. Because we're doing that at her mom's house, and now she's dismantling ours at the same time.
Well, it's because there's a lot of stuff that my mom has that's beautiful that I'm bringing home.
Yeah.
So we had all of our TV room, our family room, all the bookshelves. There's tons in there, and I made it all into like for kids. So my grandkids, but now my grandkids are getting older. Lewis doesn't come over very much, so I'm like, I don't want to look at books about Jesus and wonky donkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took all the kids' books out. And I'm going to put really elegant, beautiful things in it.
It's really
It's
going
going to look
so nice.
like...
But it's just, you know how it is. It's tons of uncertainty. It's super messy. It's when you're going through and cleaning out, decluttering, things get really, really messy before they get better.
They do.
And that's another message, I guess. Just know that it's okay and safe for you to be in a place where things everything's getting messier.
Well,
as you're working
you have to
towards
tell
your goal.
yourself that, because man, I can tell when you walk around and you're like, oh my God.
The amount of stuff. I'm ready to like go so minimal, clear everything out and just walk around in an empty house.
Not happening, babe.
I know I'd hate it too.
You would.
But, you know, I get a little extreme when I feel like I'm out of control.
Oh, you get extreme?
Oh my God. Okay. So is there anything that you would like to share before we wrap this podcast right up?
I think that this was really a good podcast.
Nice.
And
that really carries it home.
It's nice.
I think it was a good podcast. Yeah.
No, it was important because all of us in the world right now are in a place of uncertainty. Everybody is.
The world is shifting. It really is.
You know, we are moving into new earth energy and here is my thing for you today.
I knew there was something in there.
Is that do not buy into the lies that you're seeing everywhere around you. If you are being made afraid, turn away from that shit. Fear right now is the enemy. And I am telling you right now, if you buy into it, you will swirl down into total chaos.
Well, you know what? That is such a good point, because those 4 questions that we just went through, you can use those with any news source you're following. If you find yourself really watching a lot of news or getting involved, is it making you a better person? Is it expanding you? Is it giving you more hope and possibility? Is it helping you believe in yourself and the goodness of the things around you? If not, turn it off.
Turn it off.
Turn it off. Turn away
from it.
Turn away.
It doesn't mean you're ignoring it. It just means you're not going to be pulled into the energy that is going to tank you. And right now we're easily tankable because we are in such uncertain times. We have to focus on what it is we want to create, because we are the goddamn creators of everything.
Bam.
There it is.
There it is. So the rest of the story is just make sure to eat dessert first, because it fucking tastes delicious.
And life is meant to be devoured.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What
and
is it?
Eat dessert first, because life is meant to be devoured. We'll see you next week. Oh my gosh, thank you for being here with us today. It's been so delightful. If you would like more information, jump over to our website, www.empathschool.com. Can't wait to see you there.